11 or 12. Fullerton, he's been on every podium in the last 12 months, I believe.
He's certainly blasted his way up through the rankings to become the world #2. Both athletes taking out French opponents in being taken out by French opponents, I should say, in the semi-finals. Mathias Fullerton losing to JP Bush, and Sergio Pagni losing out to Nicolas Girard, which has forced them here into the third place playoff. Arguably the toughest match in international sport. Time to get the compound men's bronze medal match underway here in Nimes. And it's over to Mathias Fullerton of Denmark. Fat compounder arrows help to clip those lines. That looks like it could be a little low for the 42-year-old.
Both athletes pretty much have their mark, so this should be a really good match from now on.
Going back to a cumulative score here. 29 goes on the scoreboard for the 18-year-old teenager. A Danish teenager, I should say. And a 29 for the 42-year-old. 29 apiece. You say they found their marks. Are we expecting just 10s and 9s in this match?
Just 10s.
Just 10s. You set a high bar, Mr. Knott. We just take a look back. Fullerton, at 18 years old, really has blasted his way onto the scene, hasn't he, John?
Absolutely. He's another one who must have practiced really hard through that lockdown year. Came out at the start of 2021, and I think he made literally every last 4 all season. You're probably very used to seeing him on screen.
Martin Damsbo in the box with him. The Danes actually performed incredibly well here, especially through qualification. So no surprise to see them in the medal matches. We go into end #2 with the scores all square, so it will be over to Fullerton to start again.
Pagni is just the best at looking calm, however much pressure is being thrown at him.
Well, first 2 arrows gone for a measure for Fullerton. That's a definite 9 to finish for him. Pagni with a chance here. And he makes it with a 30. Going to have the lead by what score? We wait for the judges to confirm.
Fullerton will get one and not the other.
I think the first one was in?
Yes.
Yeah,
Fullerton looked really tense on that end, I felt.
Yeah, he was making quite a few adjustments to his bow. So 10, 10, 10 for Pagni. That's all confirmed. This is the important one. Just glad to be back. I think 2 9s were called there for Fullerton, as you called it. So a 28 for him. And that is a 2-point swing by the looks of things. A 59 plays a 57. Fullerton trailing by 2 after having 1 arrow marked up and 1 arrow marked down in the second end. Trails by 2. And this time the Danish teenager will shoot first by virtue of the fact that he's trailing, but needs to recover the arrows from the coach. And was his rhythm disrupted at the start of that set? Another one going for a measure for Fullerton. Pagni's got one hand on this medal by the looks of things. Certainly at the moment, the momentum is with him.
Much better looking shot from Fullerton then. His timing was more consistent and it didn't look like a struggle to make it go off.
Dropped point only for the second time in the match for Pagni. So 29 for the pair of them here. But we do have a measure on the first arrow again for Fullerton. Potentially could get marked up to a 30 and close the gap by 1.
It's going to be tight. Let's see what the judge says. I don't know on this one. I thought Pagni's second arrow might get a look.
Well, they will look at both target faces. They will check the scores. Fullerton this time making sure he's got his arrows for the next step from Dan's bow. A little delay to the start of the third for his process because he didn't have any arrows in his quiver. Looks like we have had 2 29s confirmed here. So it's an 88 for Pagni after 3. And he leads Fullerton by 2 still. Fullerton on 86 will shoot first in the fourth end.
Fullerton looking much more relaxed now since the arrow incident, and his shot timing now is so much better. Much more flow now from Fullerton.
As he found his groove. His first 30. Pressure on Pagni now. Goes into the 9, maintains his lead, but only by 1 now. 117 plays 116. And John, you think Fullerton has found some form here?
Fullerton has sped his shot up, he's found his rhythm, and he's found the middle. And that last arrow to get his 30 then, he really meant it. He shot that into the 10.
We refer to him as the Sultan of Smooth. Can Pagni hold his nerve under this pressure?
We'll find out in the next 3 hours. I don't want to make a prediction.
That's what you're here for.
Anyone.
That's
I don't want to curse anyone.
It is all about whether the determination of the young Dane is enough to rattle the experience of the 42-year-old Italian. It's time for end number 5 here. Fullerton fighting to stay in this medal match, trailing by a single point, will shoot first. Well, that's a tricky one to call. Likely to go to the measure for Fullerton. That looks a little bit more clear for Pagni.
That was better shot from Fullerton. I think he rushed that first one. I think he was trying to put pressure on Pagni. Didn't help. Now we'll find out if Pagni can cope with that pressure.
Two measured 9 so far for Fullerton. That's a solid 10, provisionally on a 28. Could get marked up to a 30. 10 puts it out of reach potentially. Gets it into the 10. And that is a second perfect from Sergio Pagni for a 147. Even if the 2 arrows do get marked up from Fullerton, it's enough for Pagni to claim the bronze medal here in Nimes. Scores, of course, will be important to Mathias Fullerton, but he's conceded the medal to the Italian. As we wait for confirmation of the scores, it's 117 for Pagni and the bronze medal. Fullerton is still having a measure done.
10, 9.
Looks like one of them's been marked up to a 10, so that means that Fullerton finishes on a 145, but Pagni takes bronze here in the compound men's category, 147 to 145 over Mathias Fullerton.
Pagni really showed there why he was known as the Sultan of Smooth. He really soaked up all the pressure that Fullerton threw at him. The years of experience Pagni had, Fullerton being the man of the moment, couldn't quite rattle Pagni enough to drop the big points at the key times.
When we take a look back over the match, Fullerton struggled at the beginning, dropping points, not going through his process as well as he would have liked. Pagni keeping things solid throughout, keeping things very smooth indeed. A perfect in the second end and a perfect in the last. Took him through to the bronze medal, but there was a big rally from the 18-year-old Danish archer Mathias Fullerton. Not quite enough in the end, as Pagni will find himself on the podium a little bit later on here in Nimes.